Hi, this week's question comes to me via the Canines Talking Sense podcast. One of the things that kind of comes up from time to time is the dog's indication where dogs can be nosy or pushy. As they have duration, they nudge or push or things like that. So I wanted to cover one of the culprits or causes for that problem. And it comes from using ports, using an opening like this on a box or like this on a pipe or on a wall. The requirement for the dog is to put its face inside, and when they're inside and holding, they will get reinforcement. Repetition after repetition after repetition teaches a dog to push their nose into something or push or dive into something in order to get reinforcement. So that behavior is learned, and when there is no more port, it's just odor on something, a lot of the highly motivated dogs do things like nudge or push. Obviously, if you're an explosive detection dog handler, that can be a problem. We don't want dogs nudging or pushing anything that has or potentially has an explosive device. Narcotics dog handlers nowadays, you're dealing with things like fentanyl. You don't want the dog to manipulate, molest, push, touch, do too much to the location of odor. You want the dog to indicate safely, indicate in a way that you can read that your dog has odor. So just understand, sometimes when you do so many reps to a port, something like this, like I said, the wall, you are inadvertently teaching the dog it must push its nose into something, in this case odor, push its nose into odor to receive reinforcement. So just food for thought. Think about why you make a change. So for me, that's why I change quite often the different types of containment that I use. One of the things that I like to do is this box right here, which is just another metal box. I'll talk about it in another video, but it has seams and there's no port, so it allows me to have repetitions where I can have the dog indicate to odor, but there's no nose going into something in order for the indication to happen. I like to change the context of what I have odor in about every couple days when I'm doing my initial training. So I may start off with something like this or something like this, and then change from this to this. And then after I've done this, this, and then this, I have the wheels, I have the stands. Every few days, I can change that context. And that allows the dog to understand the only constant is odor. It isn't the containment. It's not this, it's not this, it's not this. It's the containment that I can do that'll allow the dog to understand odor. Another thing that I can do to modify something like this is just have a cover, and I've talked about it in another video. I put the cover on, and it prevents the dog from pushing its nose into there. It's just a smooth surface. Allows the dog to put their nose here, hold their nose with just a nose touch, and then receive the reinforcement or the conditioned reinforcer depending on what you do. So if you're a marker, you use your marker. If you're direct reward, you can reward that way. So this just covers why we see sometimes dogs push or punch their nose into things. It starts off with how we train the dog, and the repetitions to a context sometimes is the culprit. There's also other reasons, but I want to cover that one. So I hope that helps.